In this video, we are going to learn microservices asynchronous communication. As you know that microservice communication types divide by two, synchronous and asynchronous communication. Last section we had seen how to communicate synchronously in microservice architecture. So synchronous communication is good fit if your communication is only between a few microservices, but when it comes to several microservices need to call each other and wait some long operation until finished, then we should use asynchronous communication. Otherwise, that dependency and coupling of microservices will create bottleneck and create serious problems of the architecture. So we should understand that isolation is important between microservices. We should isolate services as much as possible. Since microservices are distributed systems running on multiple processes, services required to interact with each other with using an inter-process communication protocols like HTTP, gRPC, and async communication with AMQP protocols. Let's recap the synchronous communication. Basically, we can say that synchronous communication is using HTTP or gRPC protocol for returning synchronous response. The client sends a request and waits for a response from the server. So that means client code block their thread until the response reach from the server. It has advantages and disadvantages that we should consider when we pick this design. So now in this section we will focus on asynchronously communication in microservices. So what is asynchronous communication? Basically, in asynchronous communication, the client sends a request, but it doesn't wait for a response from the server. So the key point is here that the client should not have blocked their thread until waiting a response. The most popular protocol for this asynchronous communication is AMQP, that means Advanced Message Queuing Protocol. So with using AMQP protocol, the client sends the message with using message broker systems like Kafka and RabbitMQ. The message producer usually doesn't wait for a response. This message consumed from the subscriber systems in asynchronous way and no one waiting for a response suddenly. If we have a few interaction with querying microservices, then we should use HTTP request response with resource APIs. But when it comes to busy interactions in communications across multiple microservices, then we should use asynchronous messaging platforms like message broker systems. We said that asynchronous protocols, which is the AMQP protocol for performing async message transmissions. In this AMQP protocol, the producer sends a message and doesn't wait a response. It only sends message and expects that it will consume by subscriber services via two message broker systems. So AMQP protocol mostly using in message broker that is responsible for handling the message sent by the producer service in asynchronous messaging based communication. After the message is received by the broker, now it is passed the message to the target service that you can see in the image. The order microservice send message to message broker and this will be consumed by the subscriber microservices. If the consumer microservice is down at the moment, the broker might be configured to retry as long as necessary for successful delivery. These messages can be persisted if required or stored only in memory. In the latter case, they will be lost when the broker is restarted and they aren't yet sent to consumer. Since the message broker is responsible for delivering the message, it is no longer necessary for both microservices to be up and running for successful communication. Therefore, asynchronous messaging mitigates the biggest problem of synchronous communication, which is the coupling, and it is provided to lose the coupling services with providing asynchronous communication. Let's see the image. You can see in the synchronous communication is becoming chain of requests and highly coupled dependent between microservices. So this is the pain point of architecture, and we can say this is a anti-pattern and need to redesign your system. With asynchronous communication, this problem can be solved. Microservices communicate with each other over the message broker system in asynchronous way. Mostly it is good to use publish subscribe pattern with message broker systems that we will see in the upcoming videos. So as you can see that we have give instruction of asynchronous message based communication in microservice architectures.